Hello, and welcome to our demonstration of SafeCycle, an app for sharing routes around the Kelowna area and sharing the safety of those routes. The first task that we considered important for this app is a walkthrough. As you register as a new user for this app, this is the initial screen that you will see. We have the ability to skip a walkthrough, and if you do skip the walkthrough, you are brought immediately to our main page. If, however, you would, as a new user, like to see the walkthrough, you can press the Start Walkthrough button and be brought to the main page still, but this time with an overlaid help message detailing how this page can be best navigated. Each help bubble of the walkthrough goes through some of the available interactions on the screens and then gives the option to either stop the walkthrough, which brings you to the main page without the information bubble, or to continue, which brings you to the next stage of the walkthrough. The information in behind the information bubble, so the screens themselves, would be slightly grayed out so that you would know nothing could be interacted with. In this case, I am going to choose to continue with the walkthrough, where I would be brought to a map page. This map page would again have information on how to use this location. It would give instructions on detailing how you could select your start and end locations. And if I am continuing the walkthrough, we would show an example screen of what our routes would look like if we had selected a start and end location. So here we have two selected addresses serving as a destination and a starting location. And we would have our generated routes suggested using the information we would have to show one route, which would be the shortest, highlighted in orange, one route, which would be the most popular, highlighted in purple, and our safest route, highlighted in green. And all of that information would be shared in this walkthrough with the text bubble noting that you can, in fact, normally click directly on a route. So, continuing our walkthrough, we would show that once you make it to your destination, we do want to the best of our ability, receive user feedback on how the route was for safety. That both helps us in making our ratings better, as well as returning that information back to users when we share with a new user asking for a new route. Beyond rating the route and all of its stages with a 5-star rating system, we also give the user an ability to save that route for later. If I continue, I am brought to a second review page. Our review process is 2 steps. The first, on the previous page, is a representation of what you thought of the route as a whole. This page shows that if you had particular problem locations, you can select them individually after you have done the route. So if you had an intersection that was particularly problematic, you would be able to individually rate that one section. If I follow through my interview, I am brought to a final page representing a grid of all of the individual segments on the map that could be traveled, noting that in this mode, you are able to explore the city, see the reviews, or provide reviews of your own without having had to take a route of your own beforehand. And given that this is the end of our walkthrough, the only button I have available is to finish, returning us to the main screen. Hello again. For Safe Cycle, our second task is finding and sharing routes. From the main screen, to navigate to this task, we have a button which we can click on, reading as Find a Safe Route. If I press on this, I would be brought to a map screen. On this map screen, we have first a marker showing where you are on the map. This would have GPS integration so that it would be accurate. We have a drop-down menu which would allow you to use a list of previous routes that you had taken, such as home to work, work to school, school to home, and so on. We have the ability to enter in new addresses, and we have the ability to use your current location for the starting address. Once both the start and end have been filled in, you have the ability to generate a route. If I have both of these filled in, which would also have markers showing start and finish locations, when I tap Generate a Route, I am brought to a color-coded route screen. Based on the information that we give up top so that users can remember which one is which, I can select the appropriate route for what I prioritize most. If I need the shortest route and I'm in a hurry, I might take the orange route. Purple route represents frequently used or rated popular routes, and green represents a route with the maximum safety rating that has a minimal distance. I am able to select, clicking directly on which of those routes I prefer, and have the ability still to re-enter information in and update it in case my original two addresses were incorrect. At all times during this process, we also have the ability to navigate to the main screen and to one of our other tasks. In this case, if I were to select the safest route, for example, I would be brought to a review screen upon completion. In the review screen, we have a 5-star rating, which is applied to all segments of that route. We have the ability to save the route for later. We have the ability to add keyword tags as hashtags, including some of the more popular ones, or giving you an option to suggest your own. If you want to provide the review to us, we have a finish button, and if you do not, we have a cancel button, which would bring you back to the main screen. Assuming that you provide a review for us, you will be brought to our 2-step review second component, which would be the ability to select individual segments of your route and provide a review of your own for an individual segment if there was a particular problem area. In this case, if I were to tap on that particular street, I may be brought a pop-up bubble that would allow me to, the intersection, I might be brought a pop-up bubble with a 5-star rating still, the ability to add the hashtags, but this review only applies to that specific intersection. And when I add the reviews, I would hit finish, and I would be brought to the main screen. Thank you. Hello, welcome to SafeCycle again. Our third task for our application was to allow a user to explore the area based on specific route segments, such as intersections or streets. From the main screen, if I were to press on the Explore Ratings button, I would be brought to our Browse mode. Our Browse mode would have a small pop-up, which would go away if I clicked OK, allowing a user to look at the map of the area with selectable locations, intersections colored in blue, roads colored in red, which would allow us to either explore a location based on its ratings, such as if I were to select an intersection, I would have the ability to see some aggregate information, noting that this intersection had been reviewed 25 times and had an average score of 3 out of 5 stars. I would see some of the popular tags, and if I wanted to look into it further, I would be able to see all reviews. If I were to look at a road, note that roads only have one title as opposed to the two between the intersections. In this case, again, see all reviews, and I also have the opportunity to add a rating myself. If I press add a rating, I would be brought to a similar bubble with an empty 5-star rating, which I could select the number of stars for myself, some of the popular tags, as well as the ability to input a tag of my own. I can finish to provide that rating, or I can cancel to return to an empty map screen. And I have the ability to navigate back to home or directly to searching for a route. Hello again. In SafeCycle, our fourth task was to include aggregate analytics in some of our components and other tasks. For example, as a user, the more you use our app, the more we can share information with other users, and the same goes for how many other users are sharing information with you. We do include an analytics page, where if I were to tap on this, I would be brought to our app analytics page. Updated information would be included on this page, such as how many users are currently using the app, how many bikers have registered for this app in total, and how many ratings have we received in total. Those are some of the fundamental stats to provide to a user. However, there are some analytics that we have integrated into our other tasks. So returning to the main page, if I were to navigate to finding a safe route, once I had provided my address and destination, I am offered multiple options for routes. These options would be based on various analytics that would be handled in the background, such as calculating the shortest distance for a shortest route, calculating the route that is followed by other users the most, or calculating a route that has a maximum safety rating. These analytics wouldn't be shown up front necessarily, but would be handled in the background for the user to be able to choose from. Additionally, if I were to navigate to the Browse Location Ratings section to explore the area, our Explore Map area would include color coding around the segments, which would serve as, similar to a heat map, it would serve as a representation of hotspots in the city where users either found the area to be consistently safe, moderately safe, or unsafe. Color coding wise, we would have borders around each of our selectable segments where green represents safe, yellow represents moderately safe, and red represents unsafe. Yeah. Thank you.